like I said, this is going to be a full breakdown on why my brand made $784,296.33 on our website alone in April. So, without being said, the first kind of important factor for your brand is the product and niche that you're in. So, you definitely want to pick products that solve real problems. You can have multiple purchases from one customer. You need a high LTV, meaning there's some sort of recurring revenue. And a good example is supplements, hair care, etc., anything in the CPG space. So consumables, beauty, all that good stuff. So the second important thing for my brand that helped us scale is having an incentivizing offer for subscription purchases. So if you have an irresistible offer for monthly subscriptions, you could spend way more on Facebook because you'll have a higher LTV, and your CPA will just be way higher as a whole. Something to add for your brand would be free products like ebooks, priority shipping, mystery gifts, and other cheap crap that consumers like. And I added an example from a very, very, very successful ecom brand, Primal Queen. They're doing around $6 to $8 million per month. And I believe 70 to 80% of their first-time purchasers are actually opting into the sub and save option. So why, you might ask? It's because, well, if you look over here on the left is the 1 month sub and save, and on the right is the one-time purchase. So as you can see on their offer, this is, highlighted pink, more attractive to their, consumer, which is females getting into supplements, specifically beef and organ supplements. Off the bat, this is $20 cheaper for the same product, which you can cancel. You get a free mystery gift, free on-the-go pill case, like this one here. You get a free bamboo lid glass jar, 30% off for life, so it would continuously be $44 per month, and you get free shipping. Compared to a one-time purchase, which I'm assuming, only 10%, if that, opt into this. They don't get any of those, and they have to pay $20 extra, plus shipping. So, which is $12 according to their website. So are they going to pay $76 for a one-time purchase? Or are they going to opt into a sub and save model for $44, which they could still cancel at month 2? So I think that is very important for your brand, is to have these irresistible offers for, higher retention. And another big impact on your brand would be logistics and inventory. So if you are still drop shipping, your business will die. You must have US manufacturing, but if you don't, you at least need inventory in a 3PL in the US. So this is going to help with retention automatically, because you're going to be having faster shipping times, better customer experiences, equals obviously a higher LTV and a lower churn, which is what we're aiming for here if you have a CPG brand. When you have a lot of subscribers, your order volume starts to get super predictable, as well as your cash flow. So as long as you maintain these subscriptions, keep low chargebacks, and you ship the products, always, I like to have at least 3 to 6 months of inventory in the US at all times. And sometimes that actually does look like 100,000 plus, unit purchase orders from just one of our SKUs from my supplier. So if you're still stuck at growing to 7 figures, the biggest hack in doing that is just being omnichannel as a whole. So this is what separates your favorite dropshipping guru from real brand owners like myself and many others on YouTube. So when you rely on just one channel, for example, Facebook, it's 10 times harder to have a sustainable business. But when your brand is on Meta, Amazon, TikTok Shop, Google, affiliate platforms, etc., you are in much better shape for longevity and sustainability. And this also will increase, your multiple if you were to ever sell your company. It just increases the enterprise value. PE firms are looking for brands that are way more omnichannel, right? Because if you're just relying on one thing, like Facebook, for example, if that goes away tomorrow, that's a giant risk in your business. So another reason why you should be omnichannel is just from a blended ROAS perspective. If you're spending, for example, $50K per day on Facebook ads, a huge chunk of those customers are going to search up your brand, product, or whatever on Amazon. And if you're not there, you're giving free business to your competitors who are on Amazon and just don't do anything besides sit back and just take the free traffic. So yeah, if you're not on Amazon and you're running meta ads, definitely do that. Why you should also be on TikTok Shop. For my brand, at least, we like being on TikTok Shop because it's simply free UGC, and also there's potential to blow up there as well with viral videos. We've literally had videos from our affiliates get 100 views on TikTok, but when we actually repurpose that to our Facebook ad library, that same video was able to spend 15K plus profitably. So long story short, if your brand is not at, on each channel, you're going to get beat by the brands that are. Super, super important. Here's an example I added of Bully. So a prime example of this is they decided to choose TikTok Shop as their engine of, top of funnel growth. So they're previously in retail, previously running meta ads, previously on TikTok, but they saw this opportunity to really capture, the TikTok Shop market. So what they did was spend tens of millions of dollars using TikTok Shop as their growth tool. And so even though they lost money on the front end, their Amazon does, many, many millions per month as well. And now, obviously, since they're in retail, this is how you get to the 9-figure brand, which I'm not there yet, but I will eventually be there. Their product is just flying off shelves in retail. As you see, they've done $57 million in revenue on TikTok Shop. And what comes with that is, growing on other platforms like Amazon and retail. So if you see here, they're doing, many, many millions on just these 3 SKUs alone on Amazon consistently every single month. And they don't have to even spend to acquire customers here. This is just pure spillover from their engine, which was TikTok Shop. For my engine, it's, Meta. Super, super cool. So next thing is in-house teams versus outsourced teams. So what I personally do for my brand is creatives, media buying, CRO, landing pages, all of that is in-house. We have people for that, and I like to micromanage that as well. We have TikTok Shop management in-house. So we have people managing creators, creatively directing them, making sure they're all posting, etc. But the creator sourcing itself is outsourced to people that have, their own CRMs like agencies, freelancers, etc. Customer support obviously is always in-house. Never outsource that. That's a scam. Email, I do like to outsource just because it's such a small part of the business, and agencies always do a really good job with email. That's pretty simple. And yeah, but in order to know what to outsource, you need to know obviously your strengths. So outsource everything you're not good at and get super good at one thing that you could do that drives revenue for the company. That way, when you're spending time, you're spending it on things that you're good at and can directly drive revenue and value to the company that you own. Just because you own a brand doesn't mean you have to do customer support, media buying, TikTok Shop management, email marketing, and you just physically can't do that every single day. So pick one thing, get really good at it, then hire people that are better at the other aspects of the business. Next is banking and finances. This is pretty damn simple, but we have one business bank account. I suggest if you are a founder and a brand owner to live below your means and take distributions just to get by. Everything else should stay in the business for reinvesting into ads and growing the brand, because if you think about it, the more cash you have, the more inventory you can order, and the more marketing dollars you have to acquire more customers, which gives you way more data. So never use debit cards. From my experience, I just don't use them. They're directly attached to your bank, which is dangerous. Always use credit cards like Amex, Chase, whatever it is, because obviously spending millions of dollars per month on Meta, you'll get millions and millions of points on your credit cards as well. So use online bookkeeping softwares like QuickBooks or Finaloop, etc., to keep books clean in case of an acquisition and just to know how smooth the brand is running. And yeah, if you keep the brand running, for a few years, 3 to 5 years, build enterprise value, have multiple SKUs, have a shit ton of data, hopefully one day you'll exit for a nice chunk of cash. So last but not least is a mindset and focus. So while I've been running my brand for the last 3 years, I've had dozens of opportunities to start new projects, whether that's new brands, communities, software, SaaS, whatever. One major thing I've learned from my journey, and I hope you really understand this if you are a founder yourself, is to never dilute your focus. If you grow your brand to $1 million per month, focus on getting it to $2 million per month. Don't try to start another brand from 0 to 1 million, because 1 million to 2 million is going to be way easier 9 times out of 10 than doing 0 to $1 million 2 times. Just super important thing. I've probably lost out on tens of millions of dollars in revenue for my business by falling into other ventures that I shouldn't have been doing. And yeah, with that said, if you are an existing brand owner and you want to scale with my systems, my team, my consulting, there might be a link below. And if you're a good fit, I'll give you a text. We only like to work with brands that we think we could help scale. So we will reach out to you, especially if you're a CPG brand. So thanks.